Yeah, so I'll discuss about AI generating. So it's not some technique or tool that exists. It's just what I call AI journaling is basically journaling along with any of the chatbots, so ChatGPT, Claude, or whatever.
Okay.
So what I mean is, where AI journaling is a form of dialogue-based self-reflection instead of a monologue-based self-reflection.
Okay.
Because traditional journaling or like regular journaling, usually you will sit down and write down your thoughts by yourself.
Hmm.
So this is a one-way flow of thoughts.
Okay.
So there is when you're going when there is a one-way flow of thoughts, there is a potential that negative thoughts will be reinforced, or negative thought patterns can be reinforced if you
Okay.
do not have necessary background knowledge to how to combat the negative thought patterns.
Okay.
Right. So if you're just journaling your thoughts and you do not have the necessary psychological knowledge, philosophical knowledge, things like that,
Hmm.
then it's just you're just repeating the same negative thoughts. That is one point.
Okay.
And if you also do not have necessary theoretical and all this philosophical knowledge, there might be missed opportunities for deeper insights. You might have
Okay.
certain types of thoughts, or you note down certain things, but you wouldn't know what to do with them. So you don't know
Okay.
how to what should be the next step.
Okay.
So that is one another point. And uh, third point is that you will lack different perspectives if it is only a one-way flow of thoughts.
Okay.
Right? So all of these three points actually is solvable without AI. Basically, if you read books,
Hmm.
you interact with other people or other views, any other point of time, or if you
Okay.
read, watch videos and all, then basically you this all three points are solved in some aspects. But the thing is, while journaling, you have to recall these points,
Hmm.
or you have to be able to relate the thoughts to the points that you already had.
Okay.
So just a simple example, let's say there are some Buddhism concepts from Buddhism that you have read in the morning, and in the night you're journaling.
Hmm.
But if you are not able to recall, or you're not able to relate those points to the thoughts you're having, then it's a lost opportunity, or like there's no point.
Yes.
So why I think AI journaling is useful, because I've been trying to do it since the last few weeks or so. You and also this depends, the usefulness of it depends on really on the prompt. You have to give a good prompt
Okay.
where then you will write down your thoughts or whatever, and it will be like a dialogue. It will point out uh, certain things you are not recognizing. It will give you action points or action items on what to do based on those thoughts you are having.
Okay.
And overall, as a first step, I think it is a better step compared to just traditional journaling.
Okay.
Yeah, that is
So
overall my point.
it sounds like an AI therapist, uh, sort of. That
Sort of,
means,
but the thing is, you are not relying completely, or you're not expecting your problems to be solved. When you're going to a therapist, the
yeah.
point of view is different. Right? You want them to solve some things for you.
Okay.
Here also, you're doing that only, but it's more of I guess, in some sense, it is AI therapist, but the expectations are different, even though
Yeah.
the process is the same.
Here
You
it
just hope,
sounds like you are in charge and the responsibility is on you.
yeah, you're hoping that it will just point you towards the right direction, or maybe it will give you some insights that just writing down thoughts on your own may not give you. Or
Yes.
in a sense, I don't know if it is comparable, but there's a concept of rubber duck. Have you heard of it in programming and software engineering?
No, I
Basically,
haven't.
it's a way of debugging where you will just boil like if you are facing some error in some code or whatever, you will have a rubber duck in front of you, actual rubber duck, and just say those problems to the rubber duck.
Okay.
And as you are talking about it, you will get some insights by just the way of talking itself.
Okay.
But instead of doing that, but if the rubber duck is able to give you some response also at the same time,
Okay.
so
Yes.
it will be a little bit faster to reach to a solution.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I was able to explain that example.
Yes, I got it. I got the idea. Yeah, sometimes saying things out loud or equivalently writing it down itself, and see you can get the mistakes that you're having, because sometimes when you just think in your mind it looks like, yeah, it makes sense, but when you try to elaborate it through speaking or writing, you might
Yeah,
some insights might come out, and plus if someone else provides feedback on that, there more room for even deeper insights. So
yeah,
yeah, that's understandable.
and if depending on the prompt, if you are able to give a prompt where the response is very uh, full of what should I say, it's filled with some kind of information or that you wouldn't regular people won't be able to give you. If, for example, if you write a prompt so well that the AI is able to respond as Jordan Peterson or someone like that.
Yes.
So of course, there is a what is it called? There's a need to be careful when you're doing this thing because first of all, they will use your data to train the models. Secondly, the response may or may not be accurate. You have to be vigilant in following whatever it says. So that
Yes.
level of responsibility you have to take.
Mm.
But I think in most use cases it can be useful rather than just writing down by yourself.
I think so. Listening to this, it actually gave me an idea to build an application, like for this purpose. Once you take an AI, fine tune it for specific for being a therapist, and
Mm.
actually, if for some time, for a few months, I have this idea, but I just don't have the technical skills to build it. But I've been learning those skills, and I hope I can build this thing. The idea is to build your own digital clone, and I found various tutorials there, but yes, those are quite advanced. I don't have the understanding of the technologies and tools used there, but I'm learning, and so I think I can implement it soon enough. But I think the same things that are used to build a digital clone, I think that can be used here as well. So this is what I think it can happen.
So what do you mean by digital clone?
Digital clone means it's you. It's a digital version of you. The thing is that you will feed your data into a model. Everything. Suppose you maintain a journal, or suppose your browsing history or YouTube history, Spotify listening history, everything that will give that model something to build your personality upon. So you'll
Mm.
provide all your personal data to this model. Okay, on the one hand, it is risky because if someone has access to that model, then your privacy is at risk. But the not considering the risk, taking that aside, the thing is that it can create a digital clone of you. That means now if you have a conversation with that thing, it will answer as if how you would have answered. It will think like you, that model. That's the idea behind it. So for a therapist, the thing is that if this AI therapist or this AI guided journaling app has your background, so it might gather insights or might provide some feedback to you, which is specifically tailored to you based on your personal data. That's
Mhm.
one way to. So that's the idea that came to my mind right now. Just
Yeah.
listening to this.
So then talking about digital clone also, then there is this self-authoring, right? You've heard of it from Jordan Peterson, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So if someone has completed that all the modes of authoring, like fast authoring, present and future. That basically it has all the biodata about you
Yes.
because you are writing down all your autobiography in a very honest way.
Mm.
So if you give that as even as a prompt to a model, so basically it knows everything about you.
Mm.
And based on how you prompt it, it will be able to, let's say, just maybe diagnose or give you some information about what you should do or what your life is.
Yes. And one more thing, one similar thing that I do, one thing I do that which is very similar to what you mentioned here is uh, while trying to learn something. So learning some theoretical concepts, some fundamental concepts, or even sometimes reading a research paper. So what I do is that suppose one thing is very obvious that if you don't understand something, you ask, you upload a PDF and ask something. But sometimes suppose I assume that I understood it this a certain thing in a certain way. So I write it down that here's what my understanding is, and I write it down and I ask that is my understanding correct or am I missing something?
Mm.
So based on that, it gives some reply. So I hope so that whatever reply they are giving is honest. But another one of the videos that I watched, it says that AI has the tendency to of I I think it was some psychophancy or something, which means I think in one of Lex Friedman's podcasts I heard this, which means sucking up to the human. It means like
Yeah.
it's like if you have a boss, whatever he says, you say yes, I agree with you. Like you'll not give an honest feedback. So it's like if I say that okay, is this my understanding? Is my understanding correct? So just to impress me, I said okay, it's a, okay, you understood it correctly. So whether
Mm.
I actually understood it correctly or not, because but sometimes it does gives me answer that okay, your understanding is correct, but there are some points you're missing. So here's a much more detailed explanation. So sometimes it says like that. So I hope that it's not doing psychophancy to me.
Yeah, I
So
think about that. So I think if you run the LLMs or these models locally, you can
okay,
bypass some of these guardrails. But the
okay,
ones that are publicly available or are commercially used, like Claude or ChatGPT,
mm,
they have certain guardrails, I guess, where it will not be rude to you,
mm,
because then it is a bad business model for them.
yes,
But you can program them or model them to remove any and all guardrails. So it will be very honest,
okay,
because yeah, even online you cannot ask them about terrorism, bombs, and all. Like you cannot ask them how to make a bomb. It will tell you I cannot give a response.
okay,
But if you have a local LLM and
mm,
you remove the guardrails of the model, it will answer what however you want it to.
okay,
So yeah, I think this therapist thing also, like this AI journaling,
mm,
if it is not, if you're not using any even third party, but I mean third party, if you're not using any cloud-based AI models,
uh,
and instead you're running it locally, then there's no risk of data leakage or anything
mm,
because the model is being run in your machine.
yes,
But I don't know how much powerful or that model will be. But now there's a lot of progress has been made in models I have not looked up. But let's check how LLMs will run locally now.
okay. So anything more on this topic?
No, yeah, we can move on.